Cara, this is beyond a special treat for me,
Yes.
to be honest with you, that you're here. You have probably impacted my life more than you will ever know, and you are somebody we highly look up to and think about. And we've only met just a few times, and I think the first time we met, Catherine had gotten us. Was that like Valentine's Day or something? Right? Did you show up? Or was it
Our
like Father's
anniversary,
anniversary?
or like my birthday. I think it was my birthday because I was like,
It was a
something
couple thing.
special. Yeah.
And we showed up, and I'm like, "Oh, what's this? What are we doing here?" Blah. Here we go. I'll go in.
How
Right?
much did this cost again?
Yeah.
He's making all these comments.
Right. And what that initial meeting did for me was it kind of gave me hope. Right. It gave me a feeling of love and comfort and something bigger beyond the here and now, and gave me feeling like this isn't it. There is higher purpose, there's higher energy. And so I guess I want to start out. You have a lot of titles, right, on your website. That you're an
Yeah.
empath, an intuitive healer. You do psychic readings. You do Reiki. You have all these titles. How would you describe to people what it is that you do?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I first started this game, and I'm laughing as I call it that, when I first started making this sort of ready for prime time, I was coming out of the closet as somebody that was alternative. I also struggled with the words that I would use to describe myself because I'm not the person. I didn't want to use the word psychic because I didn't want people to think I had a neon sign that said open and that I was flipping tarot cards. And it's not to diminish that. It's just that the way that I connect into people and things is very dimensional. It always has been. So the way that I sort of, call myself as an empathic intuitive healer, the way that you break it down, no matter what, session I've got open on my website, it's really all around the same idea, which is that I'm going to feel very deeply into whoever is sitting in front of me or whomever's are sitting in front of me. My empathic ability allows me to go into every sort of vibrational field that makes you up. And then immediately I start to get intuitive or psychic information or data that comes in. And whether I'm in front of somebody doing a intuitive session or I'm doing a healing session, what's coming through, as you guys have experienced, is high level guidance, insight, and energy to help kind of up level your perspective of yourself, kind of see a little bit more about what's possible for you, to move you into something more. So that's the reason I even agreed to even do like psychic readings. When I first started this, I didn't. I just did healing sessions. I didn't want people to know that I knew stuff. It made me uncomfortable. And it's because when I grew up, it wasn't considered cool. It was considered very weird. So I hid that for a really long time. And I would only sort of tell people stuff when I did the healing session. Reiki is a form of energy healing. There's many modalities that do energy healing, but it's the same idea. My system becomes kind of like a cell tower. I'm porting in, whether it's information, whether it's healing energy, whether it's guidance, whether it's connection to your guides. I'm basically opening myself up and I'm porting in higher frequency. Sometimes I do it through my hands and I'm putting my energy into people's systems to move energy. Sometimes I'm doing it with the connection that I'm making with guides and spirits. Sometimes I'm doing it by giving guidance, but it's all around the same idea. I am a portal basically for higher frequency. My personality, my Cara-ness, has a deep desire to be of service and to help. My heart wants to help people.
You know stuff. So, like, could you instantly tell if somebody is going to die or somebody is cheating on their wife or something? Can you tell that pretty quick?
It's in your field. So everything you're thinking, everything you've experienced is coded in your field. When I first started, when I was much younger, I felt everything and it was very overwhelming. So if somebody caught in front of me, I would freak people out because I would stare at them and then I would just know stuff and it would really weird people out. So as I got older, I got used to filtering. And then I really tried to filter and just cut it off because I didn't want to experience people knowing things that I shouldn't know when I first talk to them, which is uncomfortable, or it can be. And so now I have this arrangement with myself where when I'm in my Reiki studio or if I'm on a call with somebody, I open the portal, I open the connection and I allow that information to flow through. Outside of that, I like to experience my life as a normal human being and just get to know people in the normal way and not necessarily know. However, as I say that, there are some imprints that are very, very strong and that will even make it underneath my filter. So I will immediately know if somebody is being honest, if there's something off about them, if there's mental illness, if there's any kind of cancer. That's the one that I sort of pick up on pretty easily, because these things are very loud in the field, and so I can feel it. Even as I say that, though, there's so much information hitting our field all the time that I still have some pretty strong filters on myself, because otherwise I'd be blown out. When I first started doing this work, I'd be in like movie theaters and my hands would be hitting people. I couldn't get them to come down out of the ceiling. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even go in public anymore. This is getting bad. And I met this woman from Australia who's a really, really high level healer. And I was so sort of like gaga over her. And I went to her like, I hope one day I'm as good as you, and let me show you what I'm doing. And I ended up doing a healing session on her, and she couldn't speak afterwards. And she's like, Cara, no, you're at the highest level. And I'm like, well, there's something wrong with me because I can't stop doing what I'm doing, and it's freaking me out. I can't live a normal life. And she just laughed. That was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. And she basically taught me how to turn it on and turn it off. And she encouraged me to understand that you are a free will sentient being who can decide when, where, and how. You're not some tool that's being used by some higher people or things. You have the choice. That's a really important lesson. I've given that detail to so many other people that are on that healing path as they're waking up to doing their own healing work, to understand that it's not a 24/7 gig. So otherwise you can't enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You're always working.
Yeah, how overwhelming that would be. And that would be, that would cause me fear or scare me to be going into the world and having all that information. So to know that you can that you can shut it off, or that you can filter, and that you don't have to be on all the time, that I guess reassuring or just comforting to know that you're able to do that if you have that gift. So have you always had the gift? And it sounds like it intensified at a certain point. What was that process like? And did you have it when you were young?
Yes, I did. I had it so intensely and intently when I was younger that I really felt I was not an earthling. Like I thought I'd come to the wrong place because nobody else was going through what I was going through. And my parents didn't understand, even though they were very open and very sort of seeking people. They truly didn't understand the depth and the breadth of what was happening to me. And I don't know that anybody would have. It was very unusual. But it got so bad, and I say bad, meaning it got so overwhelming for me that at some point I really tried to crash myself. And this is a very common story for people that are high-level feelers, highly sensitive folks, because when you're younger, you're getting too much information that your smaller self can't really parse and understand. So part of me would understand it, and part of me got really frightened by it. So I tried to break myself. I tried to break my third eye. I literally tried to TNT my third eye. So I shut the seeing thing off for a while, but then my hearing thing went bananas and my feeling thing went bananas. And that got me on another path of accentuating those aspects of myself. And then I thought I'd done myself a solid. I really thought I'd quieted all that down. And then my higher self basically woke me up out of a dead sleep and told me, you're going to Nepal. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to Nepal. And I just followed along. And I went to Nepal first, and that just blew my heart open. And then I went to Peru. That was another fast follow. I had another instinct to go to Peru. That really blew my heart open. And after that, I just couldn't put it all back in the basket. It just went bananas. And it was when I was in Peru that I met my future teacher that would teach me Reiki. Reiki was basically a pathway for me to accept the energy that had always been moving through me and give it a framework so I could utilize it in a way that felt structured. Whereas before I would just feel this desire to put my hands on people. I knew I could heal them. I would do weird healings on people and it would freak them out. And then I'd be like, oh my God, that must be odd. I shouldn't do that anymore. So by having Reiki, I felt like it validated something for me. And then when I moved back to the States, I mean, shockingly, like Reiki, Dr. Oz kept pounding Reiki on these huge talk shows, and people were starting to accept this as a modality. And I ended up moving to Connecticut, and there was a hospital there that had a cancer ward, and they were paying people to come in and do Reiki. And I got paid to come in and help people heal from cancer. That for me was like, I think that's when the circuit breaker switch went all the way over. And I realized I can be mainstream and I can be unusual at the same time. Like there's a place for me to stand, basically. So, yeah.
I love that. And talking about Reiki, we have a friend that recently just went through the whole process, and it's just so fascinating. And I love talking with her, and I've always had an interest in it. Our daughter has an interest in it. How would one know whether they should take that Reiki path, to get the attunements? And is there a way, or do you just know, or do you just step forward and see if it fits for you? What do you think?
Well, let's talk about what Reiki is. So there are different levels of Reiki. Reiki level 1 is where you're porting that higher frequency through your system and you're directing that energy towards yourself. So in my humble opinion, everybody in the world would benefit from Reiki level 1 because you're attuning to a higher frequency, which is your higher self or higher energy, and you're focused on self-love and self-care. And ultimately, that is the game here on earth. It's the return to self-love, right? Reiki 2 is when you're amplifying that. Now that you've sort of moved that energy within, now you're focusing it on outside. You can Reiki animals, food. I know it sounds crazy. Rooms. You can Reiki experiences that are happening in the future where you want to have a good outcome. You're basically bathing these things in higher level energy with the intention of up leveling. So, I think every person would benefit from a drop in to Reiki on some level. But there are other modalities, right, that are energetic that, are just as exciting. I think that if anybody's curious and if they have themselves questioning, should I do Reiki? As soon as you have the question, should I do Reiki? There's a part of you that wants to be connected to something more. Mm-hmm. So I would say, well, explore. There's nothing to lose from exploring, amplifying your own frequency. People that do Reiki level 1 have better sleep. They have, issues in the physical system that resolve. They are able to lower anxiety levels. They are able to be more empathetic, more connected to the partners and the family members that they care about. They have a more balanced, grounded equilibrium. There's only beautiful things that can come out of, porting higher frequency into your field. Just the awareness that there is something higher than you that could come in and create something more is a beautiful idea. And you focusing on that every day is like a meditative practice. It's bringing you into the present and it's bringing you into balance and joy. So I personally feel that Reiki is a beautiful and powerful and simple practice that I think everyone could benefit from.
I definitely believe that we're all energy and we're all frequency, and there's different vibrations, and harnessing that, right? I was just thinking about the cancer thing. Dogs can smell cancer now, so I truly believe that you can sense that there's a feeling there that you're more sensitive than other people. But what do you get? A thought? Do you get a hot? Do you get a feeling?
Yeah.
Numbness? What is it? Is it a picture in your mind? Is it colors?
Yeah.
What exactly do you get?
Yeah. So different people who have sensitivities can sense these things differently. I will explain to you the way that I feel them. I would say that it's a feeling first for me. There's a feeling inside myself of something. It's a wave. That would be the way I would describe that. And as soon as I feel something here in my heart center, I'm already starting to utilize my other abilities to create further interpretation. I have clairaudience as one of my big psychic abilities, and it's that still small voice. Mine can get very loud. It can almost feel like a radio frequency, like I can actually hear things very, very loudly, but it's usually a feeling first. Then I'm typically hearing something, but sometimes the hearing and the seeing are kind of almost coming in at the same time. And when I say seeing, it's like I'm seeing pictures, but because of the way that I kind of messed up my third eye, it's funny. I see them kind of it's like I kind of know it here, and the picture's coloring in by the knowingness. I don't know how to explain that. So I don't see like this rich photo, although sometimes I do. Sometimes it comes in really strong, especially if I'm picking up on somebody who's crossed over or a guide or something. They will make very, very clear pictures. But typically it's an amalgam of a feeling, a hearing, and a seeing. So I'm kind of coloring the whole thing at the same time. And for me, because I've been doing it for such a long time, and I had a person, my Reiki teacher actually helped me with this. He told me that you need to create a prayer, an invocation, like an invitation with prayer to kind of open that experience so that you're accentuating the fact that you're ready to receive all that you can on behalf of this person. We'll put it like that. And then immediately what's happening for me is I'm feeling them as though they and I are the same person. I can feel feelings that they have. I can feel things in the physical body. And I'm so good at reading the emotional system. Like I'm really high functional in the emotional system. That's usually my way in. Then I start to get like, I mean, I've had situations where I'm working on people where literally a screen opens up above my head and it looks like binary code. This is when I'm working on people that have high level cancer. I literally will get screens and screens of binary code, and I'm watching as they're going through the code and they're finding things within the code that need to be fixed. It's like waves and waves of code. When I see that, I know I'm working on something very deeply rooted in their DNA. And then I'm like, oh my God, we're doing high level cancer work right now. And so I'm watching this, but I'm not, it's almost like I'm allowing whatever needs to come through while I'm sort of watching this. I had somebody that was a high level sort of medical intuitive I just met with recently because I'm also always looking to learn and grow. And it was the first time I had somebody, because I used to think when I was a kid, I think if they put wires on my brain, they realize I don't think I think the way most people, I think there's something weird with the way my head's wired.
Right.
And when I met with her, she was so wonderful. She was like, oh my God. She validated, she's like, your head's like a Pixar movie. She's like, oh my God. And then she was talking about how I scan. And that's what I'll tell people when I'm working on them. I'm like, I'm going to do my scan first. And what I'm doing is I'm literally going through your entire field and I'm looking for anomalies. I'm like, duh, 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 and I can feel it very fast. And she was laughing about like that I could go to a really intense forest and I could scan the whole forest in 5 seconds and then be on to the next forest. That is because I think this isn't my first rodeo. I'm pretty sure I've done this work many other lifetimes because I came in so hot wired. And then it just became a process of accepting myself. But yes, that's what it feels like. It feels to me like I'm raking your field and I'm searching for stuff. My compassion will always want to find a way to show you the highest way you can maneuver your way out of a corner or heal something that's messed up. My compassion will always try to spin this in a way to show you where love can change all of this and drop you into action. Like I don't like to just tell people stuff. That's lovely, but that's not going to get you anywhere. I like to put you on a pathway where you can own your own transformation because ultimately you're the one that's doing it. I'm just I'm a midwife. I'm just sort of reflecting. And that's kind of what got me moving in this direction of offering this as a service, is that I had the intention to not only work my magic, i.e. see things and feel things and know things, whatever, but the intention is to help you transform, to move yourself.
Yeah, and that I love that you say you're a midwife, or yeah, it's like you're a guide, you're a support system for the person to then move forward and take action. And I know we experienced that when we did the couple intuitive counseling session. I think that's what it was called. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then we've both done individual work with you, and even remotely, it was so powerful. But I remember you doing that whole scanning, and the process was fascinating of you kind of really tuning into our emotional states. I felt like you just totally knew exactly, and without us saying anything, which is crazy,
Yeah.
you know.
I describe it as going to like a talk therapist for 20 years, sharing your whole life, and you knew everything in under 5 minutes. And we just skipped that whole 20 years and made it so much easier
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So it sounds magical. It sounds magical, but this is the thing, you guys. This is what everybody needs to understand. I all I have is a higher sensitivity to read data, but all I'm doing is reading everything that's already in your field. It's already coded. Everything that's ever happened to you is coded in your field. So I'm just going in and reading the code. It's not that I have some special woo-woo thing that nobody else could have. Everybody has the ability to do this. And that's the thing. The more that you become connected into yourself, the more that you become compassionate, the more that you are feeling balanced, the higher your own sensitivity will go. And the other thing I wanted to comment on, and I remember when I was working on you guys, and this is something I've seen in other sessions, it's like what happens is that sometimes, well, often, somebody has never been seen. They've never really been seen. And just the act of reflecting that somebody sees you and that you're validated by who you are in and of itself is transformational.
Yes.
I mean, one of the greatest gifts that you can give another human is to see them and to accept what you see and love what you see and understand that this is who they are. That's probably the greatest joy I have from doing what I do, is being able to see so many people, because I wish I could take a crowd of people with me and just fill a stadium and tell them, this is what you think this person is, and go person to person and go, let me tell you what's really, let me show you all the stuff. There would be no war. There would be no fighting. There would be no violence. There would just be compassion and love. So if there's one thing that anyone can take away from any kind of energy healing that they get, or any kind of high level intuitive session that they get, is to recognize it's not just you that's, not seen or that doesn't feel felt. It's like, I think this is something that we all experience, right?
Definitely.
I think we all just want to be heard and seen, right?
Right.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's what's so powerful about this session, and to be able to see both of us, if you're going into a couples session, to be able to see both of us and, like you said, scan each person and then go to the next person and have this reading that's so insightful and right on for each person sitting here. But then, like you're saying, also in that process, we're seeing each other in a different way, and that shifting how we're showing up with each other. But then also the action part you mentioned before, you're
Because
also
she
giving
has
them
everybody
action steps.
record the session so you
I
can
love that.
hear it again, listen, when you're in a different place over and over again, and you give action steps. What next? What can we do? What can we work on? Which is really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, the neat
Yeah.
thing about this last one, I think it was, I don't know if it was last year at the beginning of the year that I did it. Was it? Yeah, because I wanted like a New Year's refresher, kind of what's in store for me. And the things you were saying, it was like I was like, oh well, is it this? Is it this? And you're like, no, it's not quite that. And then as the year progressed, I kept listening to it. It's like, oh, it's unfolding, and I'm seeing what she was saying, because it's not quite like direct of here's what you're going to be doing and here's how you're going to show up and here's what's happening. It was just that tool of having the recording, I think, is so powerful and amazing, and speaks to the power and the realness, for lack of a better word, of what you're doing. And then to have the action steps that you give of the meditations and whatever else.
You gave me books I had, I'm happy to share I had some higher sensitivity to the Palladian vibrations, and you gave me some work on reading, or how do I learn more and explore and play with this and grow this muscle to be able to become more sensitive to these things. And that was really cool.
That's amazing. And the thing that's interesting, you guys, is since COVID has happened, I've got so many more people coming that I call muggles, i.e. that they've never really been in front of anything that's alternative. But there's so many people waking up to a feeling that there must be something more, and they're hunting for a different way to figure that out. I think that there's never been a better time to either be in the alternative realm and or to be able to access that and get great value out of it. I think now more than ever, people are looking to, they're leaning into change. They're leaning into moving in a different direction. That makes me very excited when I see that.
Can you share a little bit more about your journey in Peru and what that experience was like for you and with natural medicines and things that you've experimented with, and what that was like? Because I've been on the fence with many, many people, and it seems like it's almost the thing to do now to go on like this ayahuasca retreat journey thing.
It's more
and
accepted and trendy.
yeah, like let's go to
Yeah,
some ayahuasca.
let's talk about that. So one of the things I want to have the listeners understand is if there's something pressing on you, pressing on your soul, i.e., that you're feeling that you need to fill in the blank dot dot dot, you should probably listen to that, even if it's something that seems outside of the norm. That's kind of how the ball got rolling for me. I'm not really a drug person at all, and it's because of my sensitivity. I can't really manage anything that's really out of the ordinary. My body just really hyper reacts.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm a drug person. In fact, if anything, I think I'm a more towards the other way, not anti-drug and that I judge people, but just more like I didn't really lean into that very hard. When I got to Peru, I'd already been to Nepal, and I'd had kind of a reawakening of sort of ancient energy. I felt like when I was in Nepal that I had come home. I felt like it was the first time that I had been in this body in this lifetime where I felt like I belonged on planet Earth. And it was because I felt such a kind of a past life synergy to the energies that I felt with the Buddhists that I was falling into when I was there and all the crazy experiences that happened to me there. It was very much an awakening. So by the time I got to Peru, I already had this very curious vibe about me and this kind of looking for the next step vibe. I didn't go down there to do anything crazy. I honestly went down there to write some books. I thought I was going to be down there for a few months. I was going to finish writing the series of books I'd been writing. And right before I left, somebody told me about some chick they called the Gringa shaman, some chick from South Africa that was doing all this crazy plant medicine stuff, and that everybody talked about her as being this kooky, wild, woman. And I'm like, oh my God, well, I'll do an article on her and I'll sell it for spec. So I just came down there to like write, and then I showed up at her place. And I was still in my corporate vibe. So I had an Armani suit on. I also had my hair done and makeup. I was like, oh, I'm going to be very professional when I interview this Gringa shaman. She answered the door high as a kite on plant medicine called San Pedro. I mean, her eyes were like neon blue and she was practically floating. It was so different than it was so different than me that when I looked at it, it just kind of blew me back a little. And of course, immediately I start feeling into her and I'm like, what is going on in this woman? Because I could feel stuff that's going on in her field. And I'm like, wow, what is that? So I came in and there was a couple other people that were going through plant medicine on San Pedro. And she started talking to me about how it's a heart opener and, and she started explaining to it as a gift from Mother Earth to help us return to ourselves and to recognize the continuity between everything. There was so much poetry and magic in what she was talking about. And of course, I'm feeling her while she's talking. And I'm starting to feel like, wow, this doesn't feel like a drug trip. This feels like something more profound. Even with that, I was very conservative and it took me a minute to kind of let my walls come down, but I eventually did. And I experienced San Pedro. And I moved through probably lifetimes of knots that were in my heart in a period of hours. And it sounds extreme to say that, but it was unbelievably profound for me. And then I started hearing all the stories of everybody else that was using San Pedro and what they were experiencing and healings and amplifications of their energy. So I started to go to ceremony after ceremony to feel into it and then eventually to heal with it. So I started healing people that were on it to create an amplification. I personally feel that San Pedro is the most incredible plant medicine as a heart opener. I'm not such a jammer of ayahuasca. And it's not to say that ayahuasca is bad, but it is to say it's a very specific tool needed at a very specific time for a very specific thing. It's not just a garden variety, everybody should do ayahuasca. It's a very intense experience. They call it the death vine. You literally are going to experience some form of death and rebirth. And depending on whatever your fears are, it could be a very lovely experience. It could be a very horrifying experience. Ultimately, I know most people that have done Aya have found it to be of great advantage. The concern I have about Aya is that when I see people doing it over and over and over, because it's not, the plant isn't the thing. Neither is San Pedro. It is a tool, just like going to a session. It's designed to open you up and help you move forward, but you still have to do your work. You have to change your mind, your thoughts, your approach. You have to shift into it. What I find happens is people will go and they'll do something like Aya. They'll get blown out and they'll be like, oh my God, there's so much more in the universe. And this is a big eye opener for them. And they're really like totally stoked about it.
Yep.
And then they ride on that. And then the dust starts to settle.
Yep.
Their life comes back into the focus. They haven't really shifted. They've just kind of had something kind of blow out and come back, and they haven't moved it forward. So what I tell people about plant medicine, regardless of the plant medicine, there's so many more than San Pedro and Aya, is that these are powerful tools that Mother Earth has left for us. And I would invite you to really connect to your heart and soul and get real clear before you do anything that creates some kind of alternative impact. And just be sure about why you're doing it, what your intention is, and then be sure to honor the back end, the integration. This is the step I think a lot of people miss out on, is the integration. And I don't think it's a one and done. I don't think it's just plant medicine and then nothing else. I think there are
right.
right?
Yep.
There's many tools in the toolbox. You can't just use one thing. You're going to use a variety of things. And I think if you approach it from that perspective, I think you'll find that it's very additive and very transformational. If you look at it like it's going to do you, it's going to do itself and make you better just by doing it, and that you just need to sit back and allow, I think you're going to miss out on the big return that you're hoping for.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Peru was phenomenal. So Peru is a grid. Peru has a lot of amazing energy, as does Nepal, as does so many other places in the world. There are these incredible like vortexes of energy. I also have an enormous amount of past life connection to Peru. So it was very much a return to myself, a return to joy, a return to memory, a return to my healing part. So when I got there, I felt like I'd returned to a beloved. And it really was a hard right turn for me because I was trying so hard to be normal. I was really trying to not do the psychic thing and the healing thing. And even though I was doing massage therapy, it was like as far as I would go to like allow that. I could put my hands on people and have it be legit, even though I was doing stuff more than just massage. And then when I got to Peru, it's like I couldn't hold on to that configuration anymore, that resistance. It's almost like it was sort of taken from me. And everything just flowered. And after that, there was no coming back. I had changed so dramatically that there was no return to anything. There was just a move forward. At some point, though, I had to come off the mountain. I had to come back from what I called Disneyland, alternative Disneyland. And I landed in Southern California. And, for a while, I had sort of a mild depression from coming back from something so transplendent. And yet everything in my life was pushing me here. And I realized that you have to go where you're needed. And so I started to bring Peru and my heart and my healing to the places that needed it. And of course, then over time, Peru for me was over 20 years ago. Nobody was going to Peru the way they are now 20 years ago. But now it's become, look how mainstream this has become. It's like it's infiltrated, right? And I don't regret now the experiences that I had and coming back from that. If anything, I feel like it's like the never-ending flame in my heart, just knowing that Peru is here on the earth, knowing that anytime I need to resync myself, that it's there for me. And I've been back many, many times. I take groups there, and I've got family and friends there. My daughter is half Peruvian. Her dad is Peruvian. So when I go back, it's almost like a rekindling of my heart center. But now I kind of look at, instead of it being a location thing, I look at it like I'm Peru. Like I bring Peru. Like Peru is part of me. And so then I'm blessing the world around me with that love. So, yeah.
Does your daughter have any sensitivities? I
Yes.
was just reading about, on the website you share your experience with Mother Mary and your daughter, and has she embraced that? And maybe you could share. I mean, just reading that
Yeah.
just gives me goosebumps, and maybe you could share that with your
Yeah.
relationships.
So Mary, the Virgin Mary, has been with me since I was really young, and I really consider her the patron saint of children. And she's with me in every healing session I do, because when I'm healing people, we're all healing childhood stuff. We're all children. She's a beautiful energy for me, and she has saved my life more times than I can count. And of course, she saved my daughter. I know that some people may hear Virgin Mary and get very Catholic-y around it and think it's all religion-y and think, oh gosh, Cara, that sounds very Christian. Doesn't sound very alternative. But she is a frequency, and she's a frequency of unconditional love. And so she's a frequency that I've relied on to get that connection that I needed so much when I was younger. My daughter has been incredibly sensitive, and since she was a little kiddo, but like me, as soon as she recognized that she was different, she wanted to shut that down. And now what happens for her is that she's still working through kind of the way I did when I was younger. When you're feeling so much data, trying to understand what's yours, what's not yours, what to act on, what not to act on. So she's still maturing into all of her sensitivity. She's definitely got the empathic part, and she's definitely got the visual part. How she'll develop and how she'll end up using this is, I'm so okay with it being her journey. Will she end up doing something like what I do? I'm not really sure. I mean, I didn't really step into doing this until I was in my 30s, and she's 18. So I kind of trust the process, but she's very blessed. So the story you're referring to that's on my website is that my daughter was about 3 at the time, and I had been touring the United States doing a book tour for the books that I had written that I told you about. And she got sick a little cold, but nothing major. And we had to fly back from Chicago to California. And somewhere over in Nevada, she flatlined. She stopped breathing and she turned blue. My mom went into shock. She was next to me. And I went into go mode. I'm hitting the call button, and I'm screaming out, I need a doctor. Well, there was a doctor ahead of me and his wife. There was a doctor over here. There was a doctor over here. There was a doctor over here. I am not kidding. I'm like, is there a doctor convention? I mean, mind fucking blowing. There were that many doctors.
Wow.
They're all looking at me like there's nothing we can do. Like, they're not getting out of their chair. They're looking at me like, this is happening to you, Cara. Like, she's blue. She's stopped breathing.
Oh my God.
She's not moving. So they're trying to do an emergency landing. And I closed my eyes and I said, please, Mary, don't do this to her. Please don't take her from me, because I don't think I could survive that. And I'm not kidding, guys, like seconds. I'm talking seconds. That chick came up out of my hands and took a big gasp of air and said, Mom, did you see Mary was right here? Did you see her? Did you see her? And I'm just like, oh my fucking God. Like, so after that, she wouldn't go to sleep in a room that didn't have Mary in it. So if you ever come to my house, you'll crack up. It's like, where's Waldo? There is a Mary in every room in my home, because it's calming for her. And it's calming for me. And also because she's our chica. She's my chica. I think after that, when I was doing healings on people, I mean, I would feel her presence so much stronger than I had before. And she would enter the room, especially if I was dealing with somebody that had an enormous amount of childhood trauma and abuse. She would come in so hard. And anytime I've asked somebody to work with her energy or to connect with her energy, they've all come back just gobsmacked about how fast that energy comes in for them. And that's when I try to explain to them, she's a symbol of that unconditional love. It's like, hi, Mary love. I have since found Mary's mom. So I started going higher than Mary, because I'm like, oh my God, there must be a higher mother. And I started using the higher mother because I was healing some really, really, really deep stuff inside of myself. And I went to higher mother, and that chick came in. And I've since started working with her energy and sending her out to do work with other people. But unconditional love is something that 99.9% of people don't understand, because they haven't truly experienced it. You have to call it in. You have to align your energy and your focus on that which provides that. And you have to start sort of aligning yourself to that feeling of unconditional love. When you do that, your compassion levels and your empathic levels will get very, very high. This is when you will find that you become very much attuned to your own intuitive or psychic ability. This is when you will find that you are able to create quite a lot of synchronization and manifestation. And, you find that you also want to like help people. And, if you hug them or touch them, that something will change in them. Again, I want to reiterate, I'm not some special, incredible anomaly. I'm just somebody maybe a little further down the path that's a little bit more open, but I've got the same wiring as you do. I'm just focusing on it in a different way. And so I encourage people that are listening, if there is a part of you that is hurt, that just feels so wounded, doesn't feel seen, it sounds so crazy, but if you call Mary, call her in, ask her to fill your heart with love, ask her to show you what it feels like to be unconditionally loved. If you do this with an open and true heart, I've never seen her not show up. And what you will have the advantage of is experiencing for yourself the feeling of that type of love. And once you know the feeling of it, it's almost like you can continue to grow that for yourself.
That's beautiful. Well, I love that
Thank you.
calling in the unconditional love. I feel like you're just speaking right to me, and hopefully everyone else can, think about.
I think that's on purpose.
Yeah.
She's
Yes.
reading us.
Yeah. I mean, but everybody, I feel like that's so needed in our world right now. And just from the clients that we work with, the people that we interact with, things that are happening in the world, we all need to call in that unconditional love for ourselves in any way that we can do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you see yourself outsource hurt, when you see yourself being upset by somebody who's doing something to you, or when you feel disjointed because of things that are happening to you and you're feeling really like messed up inside, just know something within you hasn't been seen and heard and loved. Something within you is calling for you to do that. You want the outside to do that for you. That's a childlike way of looking at it, out to in, right? But that's the thing. You have to understand that the outside is just a reflection of what's happening on the inside. So you want to use the outside experiences like a GPS system. And when you see yourself patterning in the same way with relationships or outcomes in your job or whatever it may be, just know that that is indicating something within you that can be healed and shifted. The fastest way to do that is with love, unconditional love. Reiki, when they talk about Reiki, they talk about it as the highest frequency that comes through the system and the channel. Well, that is unconditional love. So Reiki is the channeling of unconditional love. And sometimes people will have it in their head. I don't know how to connect to that because they're still so associated with the wounded part of themselves. And that's why I think it's so valuable to have an external symbol of somebody like Mary, because it's like inherently we all understand how full of love and light she is. And so it's almost like it makes it easier for us to externalize something that within ourselves we haven't quite found yet. So that's why I think it's so powerful to make that connection.
Yeah, so you just answered a question that was coming up in my mind about, how does one tune into that? And there's this quote that I keep hearing about, there's in relation to energy and tuning into it and tuning into ourselves, and that there's music playing everywhere, right? There's that energy, that frequency is everywhere. It's not until you turn on the dial or tune out of that static on the old-fashioned radios that we all grew up with, right? Until you tune it into that frequency that then you can hear it, right? And so that makes me think, because I was thinking about that when you were talking and Reiki.
It's always
and
there.
Energy.
You just haven't tuned your signal.
Yeah. And so I was thinking, talk to us about that. So you gave us using a symbol to tune into.
Yes, I would say a good step one is to drop into breath. And I know that, breath with meditation has really kind of become a four-letter word, and people get really kind of caught into that. Ugh, I can't not think thoughts. So what I tell people is, I just want you to practice breathing. And you're like, well, I'm breathing all the time, Cara. Well, there's a specific type of breath, And I can give a simple version of it, and then I can take you up to the grand poobah of it. Okay. But it's a rhythmic circular breath that will create quite a lot of equilibrium in the right and left hemisphere, the nervous system. It creates a neutrality so that you go out of fight or flight. Once you get into that neutral rhythm, when you have a feeling or a thought of, for example, please, if it was me, I would be like, Mary, please be with me. Fill my heart. I am in such agony right now. Show me another way. Show me love. Show me what's within me that needs you. And it's like, whew, waves just rush right into your heart. So the breath is the first step. So a really easy breath exercise is something that's called 4-count breath. Okay. It's the kind of beginning stage. It's the tricycle stage. Mm-hmm. It's you literally can get your phone and time it. You do 5 minutes. Okay. And you're going to do 4 seconds, inhale through your nose, hold for 4 seconds, exhale through your nose. And you're going to loop that. Now, most people can do 4-count breath like nobody's business. It's easy for them to do that. So if you're really good at 4-count breath, then I would say, hey, jump up to 8-count breath. 8 seconds in, 8 seconds hold, 8 seconds out. Loop this. And again, you want to try for 5 minutes, maybe eventually go to 10 or 15 minutes. If you can really kick ass at 8-count breath, go 10-count. Then when you nail 10-count breath for 15 minutes, go 12-count. When you can do 12-count for 15 minutes, go 15-count. And the grand poobah is 20-count. It's 1 minute breath. 20 seconds in, 20 seconds hold, 20 seconds out, loop. Eventually, what you want to do is you want to try to work up to 30 minutes of 1 minute breath. Any of these breath techniques is going to create a frequency within you that is, first of all, pulling you into the present moment because you're going to be focused on your breathing. So right away, you're here. It's going to be rhythming your system physically. Yay. It's going to be helping with your chaos brain. And when you do this consistently every day, let's say you just wake up in the morning, just go, I'm going to try this out. Not, oh my God, I really need this breath exercise to kick it in the ass because if I don't, I'm going to die. But you do it more from a place of curiosity. Like, I wonder what will happen if I do this. So there's really an open hand that you're doing with this. It's not all or nothing. Watch what happens. Watch what happens when you first wake up. Like before 8-count breath or 10-count or whatever it is. When you wake up in the morning, you hear all the chaos, right? It's like, it's already on. It's like, as soon as your eyes are awake, it starts. It's like, okay. When you start doing these breath techniques consistently, you're going to start waking up in the morning and you're going to hear a quiet, beautiful forest in your head. It's going to be calm. And it's almost alarming how calm it is. But it's because you're re-rhythming yourself, okay? Yeah. And you might even go, gosh, shouldn't I be thinking something? Yeah. I'm not focusing on anything. That before. I'm like, wait, yes.
I would pay so much money just to have 30 seconds of nothing in my head.
Right.
What's helped me a little bit is instead of pushing that away and saying, stop, leave me alone, it's encouraging him to be like your best friend and talk positive thoughts and being with you and your buddy along with life instead of stop, leave me alone, get these crazy thoughts out of my head because that doesn't work.
You could do 8-count breath when every time you hear something in your head or you feel something in your body that feels out of balance or below the neutral line. Instead of trying to push it down like a beach ball in the water, if you just said, oh, good, I'm freaking out right now, or I'm having a fucked up thought. Woohoo! I'm going to try my 8-count breath. I'm so curious. What will 8-count breath do I'm just going to try this on for a second. She's like, whoa. And even if it takes your equilibrium, if it just reduces that chaos by just that much, what's happening is it's cumulative. So then what will happen is that the more that you sort of try that on, what will happen is your body will start to re-rhythm itself such that when it hears or feels a chaos thought, watch, it'll start rhythming itself down because you're teaching yourself that when you feel that chaos to rhythm yourself down, to come into center. And again, you're not pushing it down. Think of it like a child that's come into the room and it's like, fuck. You don't want to say, get the fuck out of here or throw a drop cloth over them or duct tape their mouth. What you want to do is want to go, it's okay. And you go, let's breathe. Once you get the chaos neutralized, you can revisit your thoughts and your feelings, and you can process through things in a different way. It's not to say that the goal is perfection, because being human means that there's going to be chaos. It's just that you're going to learn to move into the chaos in a different way. And you might just find, wow, gosh, it takes a lot to knock the cheese off my cracker. When I was younger, my family gave me a mug for Christmas with a girl on it whose hands were like this going, oh, and it said, oh no, exclamation point. And everyone laughed their ass off because like, oh my God, that's so Cara. Yes, that was me. Because I felt so much all the time that I was like, oh my God. Ugh. Now it's like, girl, I'm telling you, I think they could drop a nuclear bomb in front of my house and I would probably go, oh, and then I go, okay. And then because I've been re-rhythming myself for such a long time. It doesn't mean that I don't still have the thing that goes up on the Richter, but it's almost like I can feel it when it's doing it. And then I can hear myself making a decision. Do I want to let that go crazy? Do I want to give myself permission to freak out? Or it's probably not that big a deal. And then I go, yeah, you're right. And I kind of come back down. So it's a great exercise, and it's the gateway drug to coming into creating anything you want for yourself. As soon as you go into neutral, you're in the most juiciest part of yourself for manifesting, whether you're going to manifest having some energy from a frequency that's unconditional love, whether you're thinking about a job that you're wanting or a relationship that you're wanting to manifest. When you feel fear in any part of your body, you can actually breathe into that part of your body and watch as it releases itself. So breath is a powerful tool. There are many different kinds of breath exercises. I've just given you one. There are so many incredible breath exercises that open and flower all different kinds of parts of yourself. So I encourage people to investigate breath. It's a grab and go tool. You can do it anywhere at any time, and it never does not work. It always works.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very, very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime I do breath work, I feel like it is so powerful. It's just getting into that routine of it, or the practice of it for me. Do you have a daily routine that you stick to, that you incorporate with breath work, meditation? What do you do every day?
Yeah.
Let us know your
So
secrets.
I'm a weirdo. Yeah, I'm a weirdo with the beardo. I have so many things that I'm putting out energetically that I wake up really early, simply because for the first few hours, if I'm up really early, I just feel like nothing and no one needs me at that moment. And it's the time I really sort of replenish myself, and I kind of putter. And I have a routine where I wake up and I start with gratitude. And it's not like I'm so grateful. I literally wake up and I'm just like really take stock in the things that are meaningful to me. And then I begin a breathwork exercise. I'm really kind of jazzed on this right now. The 1 minute breath is something that a fellow colleague put me in front of, and I'm blown away by what it does. I haven't worked my way up to 20 seconds. I can do it for a short period of time, but to do it for 30 minutes, I'm not there yet. So I think I'm at 15 seconds in and hold, but even that's been a major game changer for me. So I do all of my stuff in the early morning. That's the time of my day where things are fresh and open. I'm not a night person. I'm a morning person. Some people are flipped and they're more evening than day. And I say, focus on the time of day that you feel most aligned to. So I usually tell people doing stuff that's transformational, do it first thing in the morning, or do it within a half an hour to an hour of going to bed. Because at that point, you're not having so many things pull on you. I think you're able to be more present. So I'm an early morning. I wake up at 4 a.m. It's
wow.
obscene on so many levels.
Yeah.
And yet it makes me feel like I've gotten an extra day. And I kind of feel it's like I feel the inhale and the exhale of my life. It's like I can feel that, because then as soon as my day starts, and you guys know this, it goes 100 miles an hour. My life is no different. And I don't hate that. I'm okay. That's what it is. But I really enjoy that feeling of just, and then the rocket goes off and I'm off on a blast, and I'm Energizer Bunny until the last minute of my day. So Yeah, that's my recommendation.
I-
Pick a place and time where you can do it consistently. Also, pick a place in your home where you can do it consistently. If you do that, you've just supersized it, i.e., that every single time you sit in that spot and do that thing, you are coding that area as a place where you do that thing. And then it becomes a very nested, meaningful spot so that anytime during the day, you can just go and sit in that spot and you will feel a return to that sort of harmony, or at least a decompression, because that place is the place you go down. So obviously mine is my Reiki studio, but some people have a closet. Some people have a little, corner. There's no harm or foul in any spot that you choose. Just, if you can make it the same place every day, it becomes pretty juicy.
This may be a loaded question for another whole podcast, but no, I mean, at my point in life, right after you like have kids and get a house and get married and you have a career, right? You kind of been chasing that in my mind, and then it's like, what's left, right? And kind of midlife crisis, and for me, it's been a struggle of what's my purpose, why are we here, what happens, and my sister passed away, and just even pulling up Facebook, a friend I went to high school, he passed away a couple days ago, and so that has created kind of some kind of there's a lot of anxiety there. So I guess my question is, what do you think our purpose is? And it sounds like there's many lives that you live. Why are we here?
That's the ultimate question.
Is that an honest question?
Yeah,
I mean, is that?
I'd love to say that I have the answer.
Come on, Cara.
Yeah, I will tell you what I have found that has been sustaining, regardless of what's happened. I've had many horrible things happen, other things that people would code as horrible, in the same way that you guys have had. And what is sustaining for me is a frequency of compassion and love for everybody around me, a feeling of unification, that we're all in the same experience at the same time, and being of service. I don't know that there's any real goal or purpose outside of loving yourself, loving those around you, and being of service. I kind of feel like we're all in a bit of a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. We're all at different stages of that ride, and we're all experiencing it differently and similarly. I think the thing that makes me feel more connected and grounded is when I recognize that we are all the same. I grew up feeling so abnormal, and that was so painful to feel that way, that now that I'm older and I have these gifts that I'm actualizing, recognizing how similarly we all are and feeling that connection, it makes me realize that we're really here again to love and to be loved, right? When you think about how you purpose that, how you choose to funnel that energy, there's a million different ways that you can funnel that. Some people funnel it by making things. Some people funnel it by offering services. Some people funnel it by just walking around and sort of exuding that energy of harmony. But when we lose people, when we experience death, I think of it as an opportunity to recognize the illusion of life, and that there is a beginning and an end. And I look at it as your life is showing you, it's endeavoring to show you something more. It's wanting to break open your perspective, and it's wanting you to start looking at things unlimitedly. It's wanting you to start looking at things and going, well, gosh, where did she come from when she wasn't here before? Where was she before? Now where is she? And what's the grander story that's going on? I think these opportunities to question and to open and expand your awareness are beautiful. And it can also expand your spiritual awareness, and it can expand that sense of that connection. So purpose for me is love. It's like it always has been. I think it always will be. And if you question that for yourself, take it for a drive. Do a week where you're going to focus on loving yourself every day in the best way you can, telling yourself how wonderful you are and how proud you are of who you are and how hard it's been to be who you are, but how you are endeavoring every day to show up. and endeavor to love anybody who comes in front of you, whether it's somebody at Starbucks making your coffee, or it's the homeless person that you know is really kind of gotten a bad like taste of life, or that family member that really pisses you off, or a colleague or a coworker. It's endeavoring to look past what you think is the first layer and look a little further in. And watch what happens to your sense of connection and your sense of well-being and your sense of purpose. I mean, I've heard so many people who've crossed over, who have gone through the life review. They've had their near-death experience and they've gone through their life review. And they found that the points that were the most impactful for other people weren't these big sacrifices they were making for like their child or their partner, but these really weird, short, random acts of kindness that they didn't realize had such a huge impact on the person that they were connecting with. And let's be honest, if your wife or husband tells you that you look really good, you're like, oh, cool. If a perfect stranger walks up to you and goes, oh my God, you are so beautiful, which one makes you feel like, holy shit, they didn't have to say that to me. And so when you put your love out into the world, it's gonna wave back to you. And you're gonna start to see yourself in every single person. You're gonna start to see love. It's just insane. And it will make you feel so joyful and so happy and so open. And then what do you want to do with that? What do you want to create with all that lovey joy feeling that you have? Oh my God, there's a million things you can create with that. Have fun. It's a big palette. Like go bananas. So that's
beautiful.
That's my version of purpose.
I would agree. We talk about relationships is really all that matters in life, right? And being loved and loving yourself for sure. But everything else is just noise. So I appreciate that.
Yes. Yes, it is. And ultimately, when you are able to love everything and everyone as you love yourself and vice versa, you will find that you have exalted to a point where you know things, you feel things, your sensitivity levels, I mean, everything just up levels. I'm not the first person to say this. I won't be the last person to say this. But love is really the answer to everything.
All we need is love.
It's the truth.
It is all
It
we
is the
need.
truth. It is the truth. I don't know anything that can't be exalted as a result of being loved and seen. I really don't.
Do we want to ask one last question? People who have this feeling or feeling weird or feeling these different sensitivities or thoughts or emotions or feelings, what would you recommend they do? Or how would they, a
Yes.
younger Cara who's, feeling weird and awkward and different and 10-year-old,
Yeah.
what would you say to them?
I would tell anybody out there that feels that they might be a little bit left of center that the first step is to accept yourself and understand that there was no mistake. There are no mistakes. And that there is something valuable and meaningful in your specific configuration. And that the true journey is to understand why and to allow. So it starts with self-love. It starts with accepting yourself, loving yourself. And there's so many there's so many differences out there, right? So many people, they're rocking all their differences, right? And so when we talk about the logistics of self-love, we talk about that. I usually tell people to come back into yourself, come back into the body. And so from a formulaic standpoint, I would say start with breath. If I was to go one louder, I would go into sound. And it's because we are all vibrational. Even though we look solid, everything about us is vibrational. We've got 4 vibrational fields, very complex and beautiful how these fields are coding information outside of you and inside of you and sharing that data. So when you're wanting to create equilibrium and balance, you go to the source, which is frequency, sound. There is sound baths and sound healing and biofield tuning. If you want to explore other modalities, there's all kinds of energetic modalities that will help you move and get to know your own field and frequency. I also recommend grounding for people. Sometimes when they're a little bit kind of distorted, they've kind of pulled out of their body a little because it feels uncomfortable to be in there. But ironically, you have to get into the body in order to kind of move through it. So grounding would be anything that you do that is with your body or your hands, but you do it with intention. So if you take a walk, you walk with the intention of not being on your phone, not being up in your head, but you walk with the intention of feeling your physical system, having your feet touch the ground, looking around and recognizing the earth experience around you, and connecting into yourself from the standpoint of, I'm in my body now. Anything you do with your hands, if you do it with intention, whether it's cooking or doing laundry or doing art, again, it's very grounding and it will pull you back into yourself. Eventually, if you add breath and sound and grounding, you're doing meditation. And meditation is just pulling your attention from out here, which is illusion. It's a reflection, and you pull it within yourself. You're going to feel this incredible vastness inside of you. Eventually, you're going to start to feel this incredible expansion, and you will feel so connected. You will also be able to turn on more of your own natural abilities. There are so many incredible teachers out there on the landscape right now, so many incredible courses, so many incredible retreats, classes to help you explore any part of yourself that you're curious about. There are beautiful practitioners like me out on the landscape to help you see yourself if you're having blind spots. But the first step is to accept and love, and then it will move you forward. It's like a yellow brick road. It'll kind of guide you, and you'll start to get that instinct, that pull forward that tells you, like you guys, all of a sudden it's like, we really need help. We need to find somebody different. And then all of a sudden you felt pulled to call me. It's like your higher self was like driving the car saying, we need something new and different. Let's head in this direction. Right? Yeah. So you have to trust that your higher self has got your back. Listening, though, being able to hear that's that thing of that breath and that sound and that grounding. It allows you to heal or hear your own. Now, some people have some kind of distortion in their chemistry, right? Maybe their chemistry doesn't find its own equilibrium. So I also want to explain to people that sometimes I've got somebody that my daughter's really close to, and he takes medication because his brain doesn't make all the things that he's supposed to make to create equilibrium in his brain, in his body. And so that's another thing. It's like there are so many different pathways to help you get balanced out. The first step is just to accept and then to move yourself forward. So I hope that's clear. I invite anybody that may have a question about anything to reach out to me directly. I'm more than happy to answer any further questions. Then I'm happy beyond measure that you guys graced me and honored me by even allowing me to be on your show. It's really lovely. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we are so grateful for you to have joined us. I mean, I feel like we could talk to you all day. So I know we have to wrap up, but where can people contact you, and what are some of the services that they might be interested in that you're offering?
Sure. So my website is carajohnsonhealing.com, and I have my contact information on there. I say my two main things I offer people are intuitive readings and healing sessions. Healing sessions are Reiki along with an intuitive reading to give you the backbone of what's going on the healing level and give you exercises. And intuitive readings themselves they could be an amalgam of many things, but it's generally a lot of insightful guidance, information, and direction. If we're working on something, if I'm tuning into somebody in an intuitive reading and I see that there's something off, either physical or mental, emotional, whatever, I will help mention that, and I will usually give guidance on how to heal that, whether it's, giving them recommendation of someplace else to go or giving them exercises. So those are probably the two main things. I do other stuff, and on this next year in 2024, I've had so many people want to learn that I'm now beginning to do classes. It's not something I've wanted to do in the past simply because it felt daunting to me. But in 2024, I have so many people coming to me about how to find true love. And they don't understand that true love is self-love. And so beginning in this year, I will be teaching classes throughout the year, 1-day classes that I'll have intermittently throughout the year that are giving people a very specific, very advanced formula for self-love. That's the first half of the class. And then the second half of the class is true love. So it's going to be pretty amazing. I'm excited about it. I've been planning this for a while. It's called Awaken Love, and I'll have information on that on my website here probably in another week or two. I'm also doing travel events. So this year we'll be going to Sedona. Typically, I take people to Peru, but I haven't done that in a while because of COVID. But this year we'll be going to Sedona. So there's a March event in Sedona. And this March event is really for people that are really trying to up-level themselves in a major way, that they really want to be of service to the humankind. And they're really trying to find how they can amplify their own abilities. And then outside of that, I do soul coaching. So people that want to understand what their soul purpose is and how to actualize that. I also offer that as a service as well.
Southern California, but you do virtual telehealth kind of appointments as well too.
Yes, I work with people all over the world, all over the country. I know that people that are local always love the opportunity to see me in person. It's always fun to like touch knees, but it's the same amount of energy, the same healing level and the same intensity and the same result virtually as it is in person. It's just that we don't get to touch knees. But yes, I do virtual stuff.
And I can attest to that for sure, because I've had the in-person and then virtually being here in Virginia, and both times equally powerful. So
I challenge anybody that has any doubts to meet with Cara, and I guarantee it will be life-changing. Like it's been for us, and we continue, and I can't thank you enough. You're beautiful. We love you. And
you guys are so sweet. I'm telling you, you have no idea. I was so heartened when you asked me to do this. I really felt like, oh my God, I felt like such an honor. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to talk and have anybody even ask me questions. I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you guys are doing this.
Honors ours. Thanks, Cara.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Cara.
it.
Oh my God. Thank you.
We'll
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Okay.